Regina O'Connor, legal advisor to the ALDE Group. Before that, for 5 years, legal advisor to the Fianna Fáil MEPs. You're almost unique in having worked for all three institutions. Now you've written a book about the reasons why Ireland at the heart of Europe. Why and who's it aimed at?
It's aimed at general public, whether they be Irish or European or even, cross waters to Australia or the United States. It's basically aimed to anybody who is interested in wondering or how the EU works in terms of what are the institutions, what do they do for everybody, how businesses, for example, can use this information to see how they can change policy.
I mean, you've got research in your book. Why do you think it is that you got such a negative vote on the Lisbon Treaty in 2008 and 1 year later an overwhelming vote in favour?
Well, we could start with the positive. What definitely happened was there was more information there. You had cross-political parties coming out very strongly, together and independently trying to get the information across as to what was in the Lisbon Treaty and what is not in the Lisbon Treaty. But also you had the civic organisations, you had the Ireland for Europe, chaired by Pat Cox, of course, former Member of Parliament and President here. And you had Women for Europe, Christians for Europe, Lawyers for Europe. So basically all people were touched at some point by kind of the non-political message of why Europe is good for us and why the Lisbon Treaty, is offering us some coherence in the EU.
Your book goes right the way back to the 3rd century and traces other things like the Flight of the Earls, which is still celebrated here in Brussels once a year. I mean, it does seem to show that Ireland has a big place in Europe. Do you hope that the book will help to convince the Irish people that their place is in Europe?
The first chapter was fascinating for me to write, was fascinating to research, because I didn't realise that the Irish were so involved at continent level. In terms of emigration, we always think of going west. We never think about the flows of emigration that went east. So it's a fascinating read for me to research in, and I hopefully will have got that across in chapter 1 to people to realise that we are intrinsically linked to Europe and the European continent, in royal courts, at political level, at generals and army level, right across the board. So that was interesting.
And going to stay that way?
And going to stay that way, yes. That is the kind of thesis of the book. We need to stay that way. Ireland needs to be very strategic. It's picked an excellent commissioner. An excellent portfolio has been given to her to match her credentials. And we need to have a very strong team here in the European Parliament, both at MEP and advisor level. And in the Commission, we need to know who are the Irish placed there and how we strategically get to them.